Have you ever consumed a piece of media that's so unknown and obscure that you feel like you're crazy for potentially being one of the few people that know of its existence? Games that didn't sell well, games that didn't review well, games that only released in certain parts of the world, limiting their audience and playability. These are all usually factors for games meeting this fate. But this unfortunate one falls to all three of the categories I mentioned. That, my friends, is Collectables Power-Ups, a 2009 DS game developed by Noise, which only came out in Europe. A Japanese release was planned but got cancelled for whatever reason. The game barely made any sales from what little information I could find, and critics didn't seem to care much for it either, as I couldn't find many reviews for this thing. The only reason I know of it is because I downloaded and played a demo of the game through the Nintendo channel on the Wii years ago, which I remember struggling with as a kid since I couldn't get a grip on the controls. And somehow I still remember the thing when I saw it in a youth game shop in 2016, which I bought out of curiosity. But is it any good, you may be asking? Well, I'm here to hopefully answer that question myself. Here goes nothing. Its story goes something like this. A strange egg-shaped creature piloting a UFO is chasing after some prisoners that have escaped, but the ship is then shot down by the fugitives and crash lands on Earth. He then wakes up to find that he was saved by two kids named Leo and Jenny. The alien then introduces himself as Mark, an officer of the Galaxy Police. And thanks to a breaking news report on the telly, the three find out that the other aliens Mark were chasing, known as the Baboons, have invaded the planet and are quickly depleting Earth's resources to create giant towers as bases for operation. Mark can't stop them in his currently injured state, so he asks Leo and Jenny to stop the Baboons in his place and gives them these special acro bracelets, allowing the two to transform and giving them powers to stop the Baboons from taking over the world. This sounds like the plot to some kind of tokusatsu, but I'm cool with it. Collectables Power-Ups is one of those games that's hard to give an exact genre to. It's technically a platformer, but near in the traditional sense. You use the touchscreen to swing yourself from panel to panel, navigating your way through these levels with a lot of verticality. This is also a book-style DS game, meaning you have to hold your system sideways to play it. You can change the game to the DS's normal orientation by pressing the select button, but you can't do this for the menus. And you have to do it every time you start a stage, so you're better off just playing a book style the whole way through. Here's everything your character could do. The more simple action is grabbing panels by swiping on the touchscreen, or by tapping them if you wish to be more precise. You can also hold out your grapple to grab collectibles, knock over certain platforms, and attach yourself to two panels at once, allowing you to slingshot yourself. This technique is also useful for evading obstacles. By tapping twice, you can detach yourself from a panel, and when you're on the ground, you can tap the left side of the screen or the right to walk in that direction. You can even dash attack after walking long enough. But be careful when you're falling, as you can't do much other than attempt to grab another panel while doing so. Also, try not to swipe carelessly while you're falling, as you'll perform every swipe as you do so, leaving you wide open to mess up somewhere. Oh yeah, by turning on the option in the pause menu, you can blow into the microphone to ascend. It's essentially an easy mode if you're struggling, but a microphone symbol will be put on your best time if you use it. The controls will take some time to get used to, but once they click, everything will feel like second nature and you'll start having more fun. The stages are loaded with things to collect. The most common thing you'll find are these jewels. Collect 100 of them and you'll be awarded with an acro medal, which can be spent to unlock challenge levels and a few other things. There are also hearts to be found, which increase your health, and a power-up which allows you to shoot enemies by tapping them and makes your character look like a Super Saiyan.
You've changed your hair, so what?
There's also another power-up which temporarily makes you invincible, but you will not see that one too often. The most important collectibles are the gold plates. These are essentially the game's star coins. They are free to find at each level, and getting enough of them will allow you to unlock additional levels and other extras. I just wish the stages had a longer time limit so I could actually take my time to search for them. Most levels have a timer of 3 minutes or more to finish them. And I get they want me to complete the stage as quickly as possible, but to be honest, most of my deaths in this game were due to time overs, so I feel like the game would be much better off without the timer at all. Collectables Power-Ups has 7 worlds in total. 3 you do with Leo, 3 you do with Jenny, and a final world you do as either of them. When you start, you'll be asked to choose a character, and that will determine which ones you do first. And I've gotta say, I think I prefer Jenny's half as opposed to Leo's, as he has to go through a generic forest world, a generic water world, and a generic fire world packing instant kill lava. And I hate that one in particular! Whereas the worlds Jenny go through are much more creatively themed. There's a candy mountain, an amusement park, and even a spooky castle. And you know I love me some spooky castles. Leo also got the short end of the stick when it came to vehicles, as there are a few stages where you pilot some for gameplay variety. The first vehicle he gets access to is the hoverboard, which flies to wherever you press on the touchscreen and can shoot enemies when you tap them, similar to the power-up. It's not too bad, but I wish they cranked this thing's top speed down a bit, as it can fly a wee bit too fast for my liking. And because of that, I always make slight taps to move around whenever piloting it. But didn't get me started on the submarine. It controls like pish! You have to constantly swipe on the touchscreen to make it go forwards and turn, which as you can see from my gameplay, isn't the most intuitive. You only use it for one level thankfully, but they had the audacity to make 4 challenge levels for this thing. Oh hell nah! Does anyone have some torpedoes? I wanna desecrate this son. Thankfully the vehicles Jenny gets to use fare a bit better. The first one is the Power Pogo, which can bounce off of enemies and perform a super bounce by touching the screen at the right time. I like this thing way more than the hoverboard since you only move left to right, making it easier to control. And its levels kind of reminded me of the Rattly sections from Donkey Kong Country 2. The second one is the Cosmobile, a race car that's always moving forward. You only need to steer and adjust its speed. Similar to the submarine, it's only used for one level, but I'll easily take this over that Steel Downer. So yeah, because of that, I prefer using the Lassie of the land in this game, even if they remind me of that stupid Cupid a wee bit. You know I'm standing right here. I should probably talk about the bosses. Every world ends with a boss fight. Most of them aren't too challenging since they usually go down in 3 hits. There's also a few that take place in the 3D plane while you're piloting one of the vehicles. Even though they're a bit of a gameplay shift, they didn't take long at all to get adjusted to. The only boss that really grinded my gears was the final boss, Babool. He has 2 phases for starters, but thankfully the first phase isn't too bad, and if you die in the second phase, you restart on the second phase. But that's where it gets annoying, since you have to attack him from behind 3 times to knock him out of his ship, then attack him when he's on the floor 3 times, which is not only painfully tedious, but trying to attack him when he's grounded is easier said than done, since he's only immobilized for a couple of seconds, and his ship can get in the way while you're trying to do so. This final boss is more of a test of patience than anything. The time limit doesn't help either. After finishing the game, you get access to Mirror Board, where the levels are flipped left to right, the enemies and bosses are much harder to defeat, and worst of all, power-ups really appear, and you can't go Super Saiyan in these stages. Even if you enter with a power-up, you wouldn't be able to use it when you enter the thing. You can't just strip me like this! Come on! There also seems to be a way to unlock Mark as a playable character, because as I was collecting all the gold plates in the regular stages and mirror mode on my main save, an unlock everything button was eventually made accessible. Don't ask me why it's here, I couldn't tell ya. And after I was done collecting them all, I pressed it out of curiosity, and there he was in the character select. So I know he's unlockable, but I wish I knew how to do it naturally. I would look it up, but again, there's next to no information online. Holy hell, this game is such a mystery. Oh yeah, there's also a multiplayer mode you can play with up to 3 other people using DS Download Play. You race the others to the end of the stage, and there's even a few items you can use to try and hinder everyone else. There isn't much to it though, since there's only 3 maps to race on, and you can't even see the other players' model. They're only represented by these mark icons, which is a bit lame. But as shallow as it is, I'm sure this mode could be fun with the right people. This game's visuals are a wee bit on the basic side, especially the character models, but I do think this is a decent looking game for the Nintendo DS. The environments are colourful, and everything runs smoothly with no performance issues in sight. Revisiting this title also reminded me of how much I like the character designs, Leo and Jay's especially, even more so thanks to these cosplay souvenirs made for the 2 of us.
Oh, now you're thanking me?
Look, I'm bad with gratitude, okay? Ay ay ay. And the game's soundtrack is pretty good. I wouldn't listen to much of it outside of the game itself. I also like how more instruments are added to the tracks in the vehicle segments, making them more catchy and upbeat. While Go-Go Cosmo Cops might have some flaws, and a control scheme that does take time to get used to, this game was actually quite a unique and pleasant surprise. I wouldn't call it a must-play title, but it was definitely a breath of fresh air. If you're looking to play a very unique vertical platformer, check it out, as I didn't care if I've played another game quite like this one, with closest I can think of is DK King of Swing and Jungle Climber. But hey, if you like those games, you'll probably like this one too. But since it was only released in Europe, a good chunk of you will probably need to import a copy if you want to get your hands on it. It shouldn't be too expensive to find secondhand. I'm still surprised that this barely talked about DS game that I only knew from playing a demo on the Wii's Nintendo channel actually turned out to be a solid experience. I guess that goes to show that even the most obscure games can be fun if you're willing to give them a fair shot.